On January 27, 2025, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to initiate the creation of a U.S.-based missile defense system modeled after Israel's Iron Dome. This next-generation missile defense shield aims to protect the U.S. from various missile threats including ballistic, hypersonic, and advanced cruise missiles. The Secretary of Defense has been tasked with submitting an implementation plan within 60 days following the executive order. Trump's emphasis on developing this missile defense system came during his 2024 election campaign, where he repeatedly pledged to establish a system akin to the Iron Dome, which has been effective for Israel in intercepting short-range missile threats from groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. In a speech delivered at a Republican congressional retreat in Miami, Trump underscored the need for such a defense mechanism. Citing the increasing complexity and intensity of missile threats over the past 4 decades, he praised the success of Israel's Iron Dome, stating, "They knocked down just about every one of them," and expressed that the U.S. deserves comparable protective capabilities. Despite the push for this missile defense initiative, critics have raised concerns about the Iron Dome's limitations. It is primarily designed for short-range threats, leading some to question its effectiveness against intercontinental ballistic missiles, which pose a more significant risk to U.S. national security. While Trump's executive order outlines a clear goal of establishing an American missile defense system, discussions surrounding its feasibility and technological requirements are ongoing. In addition to the Missile Defense Initiative, Trump's executive order day included other military-related directives, hinting at a broader agenda to reshape U.S. defense policies. One of these directives potentially includes a ban on transgender individuals serving in the armed forces, reflecting Trump's commitment to his campaign promises and a conservative military policy. The timeline leading to this executive order includes Trump's campaign pledges in 2024 and culminates in the signing of the order on January 27, 2025. With the 60-day deadline for the Secretary of Defense to propose an implementation plan, the administration's focus now shifts toward developing a viable strategy for this ambitious missile defense project. Various media sources have reported on the executive order with differing emphases. For instance, the Times of Israel discussed the technical aspects and implications of the proposed missile defense system, while France 24 highlighted Trump's campaign commitments and the operational challenges of implementing such a system, especially regarding its suitability for long-range threats. In summary, Trump's initiative to create a U.S. missile defense system reflects rising global concerns about missile threats and aligns with his broader military strategy, although it raises important questions about the practicality of adapting Israel's defense technology in the U.S. context. The content highlights several counterintuitive points regarding the development of a U.S.-based missile defense system modeled after Israel's Iron Dome. 1. Mismatch in threats. The Iron Dome is primarily designed for short-range threats such as those posed by rockets from Hamas and Hezbollah. However, the U.S. faces a different array of threats, notably intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs) from nations like North Korea and Iran. This raises the question of how effective a system based on the Iron Dome's principles would be in addressing the actual missile threats the U.S. faces, which are often long-range and higher in complexity. 2. Complexity of missile defense. Trump's assertion that the U.S. deserves similar protective capabilities as Israel suggests a belief that a direct emulation of the Iron Dome's technology and approach would suffice. However, missile defense, particularly against advanced threats like hypersonic missiles, involves significantly more complexity and requires different technologies and strategies than those utilized for short-range threats. 3. Political implications. The timing of the executive order and its association with Trump's 2024 campaign promises suggests a politically motivated agenda rather than a purely defense-driven initiative. Critics argue that the focus on the Iron Dome may be an oversimplification of the broader and more nuanced challenges of U.S. national security, which involves a multifaceted approach rather than a one-size-fits-all solution. For technological limitations, the call for an American-made missile defense shield may imply a belief that the U.S. can replicate Israel's success without acknowledging the unique context and operational environment in which the Iron Dome operates. The Israeli system benefits from localized intelligence geography and specific threat assessments that may not translate effectively to the U.S. context. 5. Broader military policy changes. The executive order was issued alongside measures that could potentially ban transgender individuals from serving in the military, suggesting a broader political strategy that intertwines defense policy with social and cultural issues. This juxtaposition could counterintuitively detract from the focus on missile defense by raising debates about inclusivity within the armed forces. These points illustrate the complexities and potential pitfalls of directly applying a successful defense system from one geopolitical context to another, especially when the underlying threats and operational environments differ significantly. In the report regarding President Donald Trump's executive order to create a U.S.-based missile defense system akin to Israel's Iron Dome, several important details may be overlooked which have significant implications for national security, military strategy, and international relations. 1. Technological limitations of the Iron Dome model. A critical aspect often glossed over is the inherent limitations of the Iron Dome system itself. While it has proven effective against short-range threats such as those posed by Hamas and Hezbollah, its applicability to the U.S. context, particularly regarding intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs), remains questionable. Critics argue that simply replicating Israel's system will not address the multifaceted missile threats the U.S. faces, especially as adversaries like North Korea and Russia continue to develop more sophisticated long-range capabilities. The decision to model the U.S. system after the Iron Dome suggests a potential underestimation of the evolving nature of missile threats and a lack of a comprehensive strategy to counter them. 2. Political context and military policy. Trump's executive order represents not just a military initiative but also a significant political maneuver. By framing the creation of a missile defense shield as a fulfillment of campaign promises, he is leveraging national security issues to bolster his political agenda. This intertwining of military policy and electoral strategy may lead to hasty decisions driven more by political expediency than by thorough strategic analysis. The broader military directives issued alongside this order, such as the potential ban on transgender service members, also reflect Trump's ideological stance, which may further polarize military policy discussions and impact troop morale and cohesion. 3. Implementation timeline and urgency. The 60-day deadline for the Secretary of Defense to submit an implementation plan is indicative of the urgency Trump places on this project. However, this rapid timeline raises concerns about the thoroughness of the planning process. Developing a complex missile defense system requires extensive research, testing, and coordination among various defense sectors. An expedited timeline may lead to oversights in technological assessment, budget considerations, and operational integration with existing defense systems. The significance of this rushed approach lies in the potential for costly errors and inefficiencies that could undermine the overall effectiveness of the missile defense initiative. 4. Space-based interceptors. The mention of developing space-based interceptors is a particularly noteworthy detail that could easily be overlooked. This aspect of the executive order suggests a shift towards utilizing space for missile defense, aligning with broader trends in military strategy emphasizing space as a domain of warfare. The implications of this are profound, as it may lead to increased militarization of space and raise concerns about the escalation of arms races in extraterrestrial environments. Additionally, it poses questions about the legality and ethical considerations of deploying weapons in space, which could potentially violate international treaties. 5. International relations and defense cooperation. The push for a U.S. missile defense system may also impact international relations, particularly with allies and adversaries. The decision to develop an American version of the Iron Dome could strain relations with countries that view this move as an escalation of U.S. military capabilities. It also raises concerns about how this initiative aligns with existing defense cooperation with allies, including Israel, and may set precedents for future defense partnerships. The significance of this is twofold.
It could either enhance U.S. leadership in global defense initiatives or provoke a reaction from adversaries that leads to increased tensions and conflict. 6. Funding and resource allocation. The financial implications of developing a next-generation missile defense system are significant yet often overlooked. The allocation of defense budgets towards this initiative will likely impact other military programs and priorities. As the U.S. deals with various domestic and international challenges including economic constraints and pressing social issues, the decision to invest heavily in missile defense systems could divert resources away from critical areas like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The long-term consequences of prioritizing military expenditures in this manner could lead to widespread public debate and scrutiny. Conclusion. In summary, the executive order signed by President Trump to establish a U.S.-based missile defense system inspired by the Iron Dome raises numerous questions and concerns that extend beyond the surface-level excitement of a new military initiative. The technological limitations of the proposed system, the intertwining of political maneuvering with military strategy, the urgent timeline for implementation, the implications of space-based interceptors, the potential impact on international relations, and the financial consequences of such a large-scale project are all critical elements that warrant deeper examination. Understanding these nuances is essential for comprehending the broader implications of this executive order for U.S. national security and global defense dynamics. 1. Development of a U.S.-based missile defense system. The central point of Trump's executive order is the initiation of a U.S.-based missile defense system modeled after Israel's Iron Dome. This system aims to counter various missile threats including ballistic, hypersonic, and advanced cruise missiles. The urgency and scope of the project reflect a growing concern regarding the evolving complexity of global missile threats. As highlighted by Trump's remarks on the historical context of missile development and the necessity for the U.S. to enhance its defensive capabilities. 2. Technical and strategic limitations. Critics argue that the Iron Dome is primarily designed for short-range threats which may not effectively address the significant risks posed by intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs). This raises critical questions about the practicality of emulating a system that was developed for a specific geopolitical context, i.e., Israel's regional threats in a much broader and more complex global security environment. The discussion around this limitation emphasizes the need for a tailored approach to missile defense that considers the unique strategic landscape the U.S. faces. 3. Political context and military policy changes. Trump's decision to sign the executive order is part of a broader military agenda that includes other controversial directives, such as potentially banning transgender individuals from military service. This highlights Trump's commitment to reshaping U.S. defense policies and reflects the political dynamics at play, particularly as he gears up for future electoral contests. The intersection of military strategy with domestic political maneuvering underscores the importance of understanding the implications of defense initiatives within the framework of Trump's overall political platform. For implementation and timeline challenges, the executive order sets a 60-day deadline for the Secretary of Defense to present an implementation plan, which raises concerns about the feasibility of such a rapid timeline for a complex defense project. The intricacies involved in developing a next-generation missile defense system, including technological, financial, and operational considerations, suggest that achieving the ambitious goals outlined in the executive order may face significant hurdles. This aspect invites a deeper analysis of the logistical and strategic implications of rapidly advancing missile defense initiatives in the current geopolitical climate. 1. Star Wars Program 1983. Announced by President Ronald Reagan, the Strategic Defense Initiative (SDI), commonly referred to as Star Wars, aimed to develop a missile defense system that would protect the United States from nuclear ballistic missiles through advanced technologies including space-based lasers and missile interceptors. The initiative faced significant criticism for its feasibility and cost and was eventually abandoned after the Cold War ended, although it laid the groundwork for future missile defense research and development. 2.
THAAD deployment 2017, the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense THAAD system was deployed to South Korea in response to increasing missile threats from North Korea.
This system is designed to intercept short, medium, and intermediate-range ballistic missiles during their terminal phase of flight.
The deployment sparked controversy and geopolitical tensions, particularly with China, which viewed it as a threat to its security. THAAD represents a significant part of the U.S. missile defense strategy and showcases the complexities of implementing such systems in varying geopolitical contexts. 3. Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense 2000s present. The Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense System is a naval-based missile defense system developed by the United States that is capable of tracking and intercepting short to intermediate-range ballistic missiles. It has been deployed on U.S. Navy ships and has played a critical role in various defense strategies, including protecting U.S. allies in Europe and the Pacific.
The system has been involved in numerous tests and has been integrated into global missile defense initiatives, demonstrating both its operational capabilities and the ongoing evolution of missile defense technology.
The signing of President Donald Trump's executive order on January 27, 2025 to initiate the development of a U.S.-based missile defense system inspired by Israel's Iron Dome marks a significant shift in American defense strategy. This move, reflecting Trump's 2024 campaign promises, aims to create a next-generation missile defense shield to counter a wide array of missile threats, including ballistic and hypersonic missiles. Here we explore the future outlook of this initiative and its broader implications.
1. Technological development and innovation. The implementation of Trump's missile defense system is expected to spur advancements in defense technology.
The focus on developing space-based interceptors and other cutting-edge technologies will likely lead to increased investment in research and development. As the U.S. military collaborates with defense contractors and technology firms, we may witness innovations that could enhance not only missile defense but also broader military capabilities.
2. Geopolitical implications. The establishment of a sophisticated missile defense system will alter the strategic landscape.
Countries like China, Russia, and North Korea, which pose significant missile threats, may respond by accelerating their own missile development programs or enhancing their offensive capabilities. This could lead to an arms race as adversaries seek to counter the U.S. system. The geopolitical environment may become more tense as nations reassess their military strategies in light of America's enhanced defenses.
3. Military budget and resource allocation.
The ambitious nature of the Missile Defense Initiative will likely require substantial funding and resource allocation. This could lead to shifts in the military budget, prioritizing missile defense systems over other areas,
such as traditional ground forces or naval capabilities.
Congress will play a crucial role in determining the budgetary implications of this initiative, which may lead to debates over funding priorities within the defense sector. 4. Public perception and political dynamics. Public support for a missile defense system will depend on perceptions of the effectiveness and necessity of such a program. If the system can demonstrably enhance national security and protect against missile threats, it may garner broad support. However, concerns about cost-effectiveness against long-range threats and potential over-reliance on technology may lead to public skepticism. Additionally, political dynamics in Congress could shift depending on the 2026 midterm elections, impacting the initiative's funding and implementation.
5. International cooperation and alliances. The development of a missile defense system may influence U.S. relationships with allies,
especially those in NATO and the Asia-Pacific region. Countries that feel threatened by missile capabilities from adversaries may seek to collaborate with the U.S. on missile defense initiatives, potentially leading to shared technologies and joint exercises. Conversely, nations wary of U.S. military expansion may voice concerns about regional security dynamics and the implications of an enhanced U.S. defense posture.
6. Operational challenges and effectiveness.
While the Iron Dome has proven effective against short-range threats, questions remain regarding its effectiveness against long-range and advanced missile threats, which are more relevant to U.S. security. The U.S. will need to conduct rigorous testing and evaluation of the new system to ensure it can successfully intercept various missile types. Operational challenges such as integration with existing defense systems and response times will be critical in determining the overall success of the initiative. 7. Long-term defense strategy. The Missile Defense Initiative aligns with a broader shift in U.S. defense strategy towards a more proactive posture in countering emerging threats. As global security challenges evolve, the U.S. may increasingly prioritize missile defense as a core component of its military strategy. This could lead to a re-evaluation of traditional defense doctrines and an emphasis on deterrence through advanced technology. 8. Future of defense policy. The executive order is part of a larger trend towards militarization and a focus on national security. As the U.S. grapples with rising international tensions, we may see further expansions in defense policies, including potential new treaties or withdrawal from existing agreements that limit missile development. The balance between diplomacy and military preparedness will be a critical consideration for future administrations. Conclusion. The development of a U.S. missile defense system akin to Israel's Iron Dome represents a pivotal moment in American defense policy. While it promises to enhance national security against a backdrop of evolving global missile threats, it also raises concerns about cost-effectiveness and geopolitical stability. The coming years will be crucial as the U.S. navigates the complexities of implementing this initiative, balancing technological advancements with international relations, military readiness, and public sentiment.